Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today, September 3rd, 2020. I'm the man they call Meathead. And, as promised, and I am delivering on a Thursday morning, it's Dameon Nelson. Good morning, Dameon.
Is it Labor Day?
No, Labor Day is always on Monday, sir.
But September 3rd feels like Labor Day to me.
You know that Labor Day is always the first Monday of September, right?
No, that's not relevant. That's fake news. It just feels like September 3rd, 4th, or 5th is equated with Labor Day.
Because
by the way, what is Labor Day?
Labor Day is in honor of the working man and woman of the country.
This is where I insert some kind of bad political joke.
Right. And I promised the listeners yesterday, I said, well, if we don't let Dameon talk politics, we'll do a crisp 20. But
hey, what do you mean? Why can't I talk politics?
Oh, you can. But then the time just goes longer and longer and longer.
Okay, great. Keep going.
Hey, we got a couple things we got to touch on first before we get into AEW Dynamite from last night. Hey, by the way, we're loving our new sponsor, manscaped.com. If you go to the website and go to manscaped.com, that's manscaped.com, you can get 20% off and free shipping using the code PWR. We also like to see you use hashtag ManscapedPod if you're going to tag us in any of those. Like if you're getting I know the Lawnmower 3.0 is out there. Dameon, while the Lawnmower 3.0 is probably going to work for me, I probably should have one of those industrial size ones like Forrest Gump drives, when he's cutting the grass at the high school. But Manscaped's going to definitely help me out there.
Hey, I took 20% off tonight.
From where?
Well, with my Manscaped.
Oh, so on the website you took 20% off. I thought you just shaved off 20% of something somewhere.
Oh, no. My something's not on any websites that I know that I know of. And you know what? It's a great product. It truly is. I'll fully disclose here. I've used a lot of products in my life. I've tried a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Until I got my Manscaped razor shaver. It is state of the art. It is the most comfortable thing. And you know what? It's the first time I've been able to travel across the wall, across the border, and not worry about getting caught.
Yeah, because, they have a specific mention on the website about coarse hair. Now, I never had this conversation with you, and I never want to go into this conversation with you about the density and the thickness. But, if you've ever seen The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, that's what we're talking here.
Whoa, wait a minute. How'd you get there?
Oh, coarse hairs. When he started growing those fly hairs on him.
Oh, and he was picking them out. You know what? Is that a classic? The Fly?
I liked it, but it was a remake already when Goldblum did it because there was like a.
Yeah, but you know what? We don't want to go back that far. That movie though it wasn't Sandra Bullock. Who was the woman?
The woman? I don't remember. Gina Davis.
Yes. Not the girl from the bus, but yes, similar.
Yeah, no, it was Gina Davis was in that movie.
Does she have the?
Because Earth Girls are easy. What's that?
Does she have the Gina Davis eyes?
I haven't checked lately. I know she's got 2 of them. Goldblum had 3 at one point.
I'll just call Miss Betty and figure it
out. The sequel, by the way, to that movie, didn't like it all. Eric Stoltz was trapped in a underground bunker.
Which sequel was worse, To The Fly or Mortal Kombat?
Oh, Mortal Kombat by a mile.
It's one of the worst, greatest movies ever made.
Yeah, I just got to.
We're talking about specifically, not the original Mortal Kombat.
Right, the original Mortal Kombat
4 times in theaters.
Yeah, no, we were just having a conversation about video game movies, how bad Street Fighter was. And he goes, dude, it was the 80s and 90s. Yeah, I'm like, dude, Mortal Kombat was awesome. On the second one, don't you ever show me that ever. But
you know what? Hey, go back and watch it. Mortal Kombat, the original movie, actually was released on my birthday in 1996.
Yeah. It's an amazing movie.
November 26th. Flawless victory.
A week ago, and, wax poetic about all this stuff. But let's talk about Dynamite last night.
I thought the show was over. Hasn't that been 20 minutes?
Well, usually when you talk, I feel like it's been 20 minutes.
I'll shut up.
Let's talk about AEW last night.
Let's talk about Darby Allin. Let's talk about Ricky Starks. Let's talk about Orange Cassidy.
We will get to them.
Let's talk about Jungle Boy. Let's talk about all the tremendous stars of AEW.
Who seem to be on every week on Dynamite, and they find a way. I mean, granted, they have 6 or 7 8-man tags every night, but
what's your problem with Luchasaurus?
None.
Oh.
None. I don't have a problem with that. Wrong guy. Wrong show, Dameon. I don't have an issue with Luchasaurus. I want to see him do more big man stuff, though. I mean, I think he's an amazing athlete, and, he's from millions of years ago, so, it's time for him to get a push finally.
Okay.
All right, so first off, Excalibur back in the commentary table. Excalibur, no official report, so we don't want to speculate too deep on why he was gone, but he was removed from television about mid to late July, and he returned last night on Dynamite. Your thoughts on Excalibur going forward in the 3-man commentary booth with JR and Shivani?
Yeah, it was good to have Excalibur back. I think Taz is... it's a problem for him to be in that role because of his affiliation with Brian Cage and Ricky Starks.
Yep.
It was good to have Excalibur back. There was no explanation as to his absence. Yet there
Not
was
a television one.
Yet there was jubilation about his return. So it's fine. They've got a good booth. JR was very loose last night. Tony Schiavone was fantastic. And, you were a WCW guy back in the day, and I refused to watch because I was a WWE loyalist. But Shivani was and is pretty spectacular on commentary. He's a unique soul. I don't know if you listen to his podcast, but, he's just got this posture and the positioning that makes him very unique in wrestling commentators or in the history of wrestling commentators. And I'm liking the group. It was good to have Excalibur back last night on Dynamite. Yeah. And good to have Dynamite back on a Wednesday night, by the way.
Yeah, but not for the foreseeable future. There's more NBA basketball playoffs coming. There's going to be an interruption. I think it's next week or the week after, where they're going to do a one.
Because I'm shocked. I didn't think the WNBA did better ratings than AEW.
You and I personally, to go off on a sidetrack here, you and I have some issues when it comes up to normal, quote unquote, sports when it comes to wrestling, because I cannot tell you how many times we sat in a studio or we sat somewhere waiting for a particular sports event to end so we can go on and do our show when we had more listeners, viewers than said sports event. So,
back in the ESPN studio.
Yes, sir.
We got screwed quite often.
Yeah, for women's lacrosse.
It was better than getting screwed by the Westminster Kennel Club. Let me say that properly. The Westminster Kennel Club dog show.
Yeah, bunch of dog and pony show is what it was. All right, so first off,
wait. You saw the president's visit in Kenosha?
I'm sorry. Say again.
You saw the president's visit in Kenosha?
Santana Ortiz and Best Friends had I guess what you would call a match. I really thought they were pushing this towards the pay-per-view All Out, but I really like the heat and energy between these two teams, especially involving, Trent's mom.
Yeah, the minivan took a bump, but you know what? I don't want to get accused of being over gleeful about AEW, but when you think about this, if you're just sort of reading the notes about this and realizing that, Trent's mom is involved in this story and there's a minivan they're driving to the ring, you sort of laugh. But it actually works very, very well. And it's sensible and relatable, which is great. As long as Judy Bagwell stays off that pole.
Well, she was on a forklift.
To get to the pole. Then I
right.
think we're good. But they've done a great thing. But you know what? Hey, as many people joke about the Judy Bagwell thing, anytime there's an on a pole the match or a mom involved, who do you relate to? Judy
Shelton
Bagwell.
Benjamin.
Oh, mama.
Only because we've been talking about him this week.
Shelton doesn't get enough credit for his family lineage because his mama went on to do those movies. Medea?
Oh, yeah. She's out there now. So... All right, but anyways, Santana Ortiz and Best Friends going again, and it looks like they're going to end up, excuse me, folks, they're going to end up in part of that 21.
Shoot. Wait, is that COVID?
No, it's not COVID. I don't have a case of the Rona.
I'd have to hang up.
Right, because it goes through the electronics. They're going to be part of that
on Twitter.
We're going to go be a part of that 21-man Casino Battle Royal. Now, backstage, we got more gold out of MJF, and underrated but annoying sometimes as well. His attorney, MJF's attorney, Mark Sterling, who has a match last night against the world champion Moxley. Mark Sterling hiding in the dressing room. Wardlow kicks the door and pulls him out, and he goes, "Which monster would you like to face tonight? The one in the ring, or the one that's gonna put you in a beep wood chipper?" Wow, all right, MJF. MJF, what have you thought of this push? Where we need better. MJF 2020 up until this Saturday.
Meathead is so brilliant because they're saying everything that doesn't need to be said. Clearly, they're taking a bit of a parody on the current political situation. Mm-hmm. MJF is perfect for it because what he's saying can't be attributed to whichever side or party anyone is standing on, but it's just so relative to his situation in AEW and his match with Jon Moxley. But I will say this: we talked about this on Primetime a couple of weeks ago with Shane Helms. It's interesting that as great as MJF is, as great as Jon Moxley is, this world championship situation still seems to be secondary to a lot of the other stories going on in AEW, including that of Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I would tend to agree on that, but they're going to make it become the top thing because the way they are going to have this pay-per-view built, which is happening Saturday on Fight TV and every other outlet that you might use, but make sure you head on over to Fight TV. They're going to make it.
See what you did there. Good job.
Thank you. They're going to make it the main event. It's going to be the big one, the one that means the most.
Hey, you know what? Hey, if that match closes the show, MJF is your new champion.
Possibly. We'll see.
If that match closes the show, MJF is your new champion. Believe that, player.
Oh, we're going to mark the tape on that one. All right, mark the tape. All right, Amen tag match. Again, while I love AEW putting all their talent out and getting as many talents on screen as possible, enough with the 8-man tags. I've had enough. 8-man tag match. The winning team would face each other at All Out, which ends up being the Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks. They win against Private Party and SCU. So Jurassic and the Bucks will have a tag team match at All Out. I want to talk about, you mentioned Jericho and you mentioned...
Titles?
What's that?
For the titles?
No, they're just going to battle each other. Maybe they become number one contender. That hasn't been mentioned.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about this. JR gives us this big bombastic intro, introduction to this. Jake Hager walking around. He's got his own camera crew. Let's take a look and see what he's doing. And he walks into the dressing room with Orange Cassidy, who's just kind of there. Jake sits down next to him, puts his leg over the top of Orange. Mr. Jericho would like you to be out at ringside for his match tonight. Orange takes his leg out from underneath Jake's, puts it on top of Jake's like they're now bosom buddies. And he goes, and I would guarantee you need to be there. Don't upset him. Never see the camera crew again. It was funny and weird all at the same time.
It's been a good story that's been told between that of Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
And, I got to imagine if you're planning, I guess you can call them storylines, whatever it may be, but it can be easy with Orange Cassidy because while he's great, while he's fantastic, while I love the character, if you will, it is a bit naturally limited, and they have found a way to naturally maximize it against the 330-pound Chris Jericho.
Wow, yeah, and that it might be 331, whatever the number was, but it was well over 3. Wow.
We'll have to check back with Shivani with the ring announcer Justin Roberts, because that's what he announced them as last night.
Yeah. There was an interview in ring with Kenny Omega, and FTR came out with Tony Schiavone. And, of course, FTR being your boys, they're on Team Nelson, the Nelson family. They brought out, their beers, but they also brought a little quart of the chalk, of the chocolate milk there. Hangman Adam Page comes out, Tully's out there, and there's a little scrapping back and forth, but still, there's way too much eye makeup to make Adam Page look like he had been up all night. But I still get why they do it, and it makes part of a good story. There's dissension. There's huge dissension in the tag team champions.
Yeah, there is. It's been brewing for a long time. We saw it come to fruition, 2 weeks ago on AEW. But yeah, I don't know. I've got a challenge, and I've talked about this on this podcast before.
Sure.
I've got a challenge
This is
with
a safe
Omega.
place, Dameon. Go ahead and tell us how you feel.
I've got a challenge with Omega. I've got a challenge with Paige, and I've got a challenge with the Young Bucks. I just don't get anything about the four of them, and that's just me. I'm trying. I'm watching. I don't know. If I had to pick a favorite out of the four, it's probably Adam Page because he's a whiskey guy. But at the same time, I'm supposed to believe that these four are great because of what they did before AEW. But what I will challenge the audience to think about is if I just started watching AEW when they debuted on TNT, have I been told why they are so great?
And you
that's
haven't.
the disconnect.
And you haven't. So we know because of the internet, the Young Bucks have traveled the world. We know Kenny Omega's had these amazing matches outside of the country, but they are now being introduced really to American television audiences for the first time. And Dameon, you and I agree on this. I'm not sure why it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I mean, the Young Bucks, to a degree, they look like they should be on a Toys R Us commercial, where a kid can be a kid. And I hate to say that.
Owned by who now?
I'm not trying to knock them, but I mean, how many super kicks and how many flips and how many waiting for catching somebody's can you endure in one match? And I'm sorry, I still have engaged the audience for years to help me understand why they're so great, and I'm not knocking them. I really am not, because they're probably great as a tag team if my expectations had not been set so high by how much they are presented as greater than what I see them as on television every week. And secondly, again, it really pains me to say that because there is one show that trumps all others every week on Wrestling Weekly television, and that is AEW Dynamite. And the Bucks and Paige and Omega play a huge part of that. And I want to like them, and I do like them. But I can't salivate over them because of what they did before AEW, because AEW has not done enough to tell me about that.
Yeah. And secondly, too, I mean, if you really think about it, any wrestler that you look at, any wrestler that joins a company, their main goal should be the top guy in the company, to be the world heavyweight champion. When you look at the Young Bucks, I don't see world heavyweight champions.
Well, Rey Mysterio was world heavyweight champion.
I saw Rey Mysterio because Rey Mysterio fought and wrestled as a heavyweight style. The Bucks don't wrestle.
David Arquette was world heavyweight champion.
And continuing on, Chris Jericho, a heavyweight now, took on Joey Janela, and he summoned Orange Cassidy to ringside to watch the match. Classic Jericho again. Chris Jericho was wearing Orange Cassidy's T-shirt. It was amazing. And then once he beat up Bad Boy Joey, what's that?
Was that a double X?
I didn't check the tag on it. It might have been a tagless shirt from Hanes. But once he beat Joey Janela up enough to get color, he rubbed the color all over Cassidy's shirt. It was perfectly placed, pointed out to Cassidy, and Cassidy came running in, and it was go time. Cassidy knew that he was going to have a 2-on-1, but then out of nowhere, it's...
RKO?
No, not an RKO. Out of nowhere, he gets help. So, again, I love what happens anytime Cassidy and Jericho going. Jericho does a great... We talked about this a few weeks ago. You and I did. Wrestling 101.
Yeah.
While you're a heel, even though you're going to tell everybody how you're going to win and you're the best in the world, you don't dump on the other guy. You tell everybody how great they are. So when you beat them, that makes you even better. And he continues to put over Orange Cassidy.
Well, as you say, Meathead, Wrestling 101, this whole saga with Jericho and Cassidy and him wearing Cassidy's shirt, then bloodying it.
Yep.
That's so 80s. That's so core wrestling. And it's so great even today. And sometimes getting back to the basics, back to fundamentals works, but it just tells such a great story. It's like, and I hate to relate the two because sometimes, I mean, well, it's a bad place to go, but it's like Cornette when Heyman hit him with the phone on Saturday night when he had the white jacket. And it was like, you know what? This is even better because I couldn't tell how much he was bleeding or how bad it was because if that jacket wasn't white. And last night rather, it reminded me of the same kind of situation. Just brilliant wrestling strategy, core, basic, Southern wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. The Casino Battle Royal is going to be 5 people entering in the ring at a time. How does this work when it's a 21-person Battle Royal?
Well, yeah, and then you subtract and we'll add and then just read it.
Yeah.
People are telling me it's great. It's the greatest thing ever. It's bigly.
So it started. It's bigly. Dameon, I'm not going to give the rest of the audience this, but I know what you're doing, and I'm going to talk about Brian Cage, Taz, and Ricky Sparks. Then Jake the Snake Roberts.
Ricky Sparks. Hey, you know what, Meathead? I'm sorry to cut you off, but I tell you this. I have endorsed many talents in the wrestling business, and I've yet to endorse Ricky Starks. But as you know, I endorsed Cody Rhodes. I endorsed
Who's
so
in there?
many people, including The Miz. I endorsed so many people that went on to greatness.
Yes.
Not since 1999, and I'm being 100% honest right now. Not since 1999-ish, rather, with The Rock in WWE have I seen someone with so much natural charisma, energy, passion, desire, and execution as I see in Ricky Starks. He is literally the future of wrestling. He's a great looking guy. He can talk better than almost anyone in the wrestling business. And when I say that, I mean it this way. He is so believable when he speaks. It's not a scripted promo. It's not something that is wrestling, if you will. He just delivers and does so in such a meaningful way that it's like, damn, this guy is good. And I'll tell you this, Meathead, before he even appeared on AEW, I somehow or another on Twitter stumbled across one of his promos and I watched it. It was like a minute and a half or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, who the hell is this guy? He is amazing. And it is so rare that you get those talents that come across in professional wrestling or come along in professional wrestling that you just see once, hear once, see one match, and know, dude, this is the future. JR, Survivor Series, 1996, when The Rock came out. Rocky sucks, Rocky sucks, Rocky sucks. He said, and I quote, that's blue chipper right there. That's the future of the business right there. And nobody believed it at that time, but it turned out to be true. I truly believe that Ricky Starks is the current future of the wrestling business. And I hate to overly mark out for him, but I'm so impressed with
You
just
want it
how
on tape. I get it.
great he is.
Put it on tape. All right. But kind of what I was mentioning too, and your other guy here ran in, and there was a huge Donnybrook. We didn't mention Darby Allin yet. He came in as well. Darby Allin, I'd like to see a little bit more size to him, but Darby Allin's amazing.
Oh, you're channeling Dave Hero here. You got a problem?
No,
with
I'm talking Meathead
guy?
is what I'm doing.
You got to challenge Darby because he's a smaller guy?
No, I want to see Darby. I'm just saying I think there's more for him if he gets a little more size to him.
You know, I don't think he needs more size. In fact, I don't think Darby needs anything. Darby Allin is much like a Jeff Hardy. He's weird, right? And weird in a good way, whereas you're intrigued by what's happening in that head. He is, what's the word I'm looking for? He is a bit off kilter in a great way. He delivers in the ring the passion, the excitement. Darby.
Off kilter's a good thing. I mean, I know somebody sitting in this chair that's a little off kilter sometimes.
Wait a minute. Who's in your lip? Anyways, Darby Allin, fantastic, delivering. Again, what AEW is doing so well, and I of course, run the risk here of being attributed to being overly enthusiastic about AEW, but what they're doing so well is they have fresh talents that we're not sick of yet. And that's just natural luck because they're new. But they do so well in giving us stories and situations that just seem so naturally believable that you can escape your everyday and get into the story and think that, damn, Ricky Starks hates Darby Allin. Damn, Darby Allin hates Ricky Starks. Damn, Chris Jericho hates Orange Cassidy. Damn, Orange Cassidy hates Chris Jericho. And that's the believability that's been missing in wrestling for so long, including as intense as they try to make Roman Reigns. pairing him up with Paul Heyman, having him win the Universal Championship or whichever championship at Payback last Sunday, it's still clearly scripted television, and I have to tell myself, okay, this is what they want me to think. But when I watch AEW, when I watch Dynamite every week, I don't have to go there. It's just naturally happening in my head where it's like, oh, yeah, this is real. This is heat. And that's what they do so much better.
I'll tell you, in this Casino Battle Royal kind of preview segment is what it really was. I thought Jake and Taz were going to go at it. That's how believable that was to me, because Jake obviously is not going to wrestle Taz. Taz could probably, go a couple minutes too, but
I think Jake could take him.
You think Jake could take Taz?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Taz has got a lower center of gravity. I mean, there's got to be 2 feet difference there.
That's true.
But I love the Casino Battle Royal preview. I mean, we had pretty much everybody that was going to be in the match was out there. And then really the main event, Jon Moxley took on the lawyer, Mark Sterling. It was fun. I mean, you know what? But at the end, what we really needed and what we really got was a very slow, methodical MJF, after the beatdown from Wardlow, slowly uncuff his shirt, take his watch off, take his rings off, roll his sleeves up, and put a beating on Jon Moxley and cause him color. That was the way to end the show, to go home to All Out.
Exactly. Go home being the key. All Out this weekend on pay-per-view from AEW. They've got live fans back at Daly's Place Plaza, whatever it is, in Jacksonville,
10%
Florida.
still right now.
Yeah, but you know what? That 10% means a world
Huge.
of difference, because you've got fans there, you've got the audience, the atmosphere. I'm really looking forward to this event on Sunday. They've done a tremendous job. Saturday, rather. Thank you very much. They've done a tremendous job in building to these matches and making them all feel important, even the quote-unquote undercard matchups.
Right, and there is a buy-in, by the way, which will be, and I'm segueing into the PWR draft here, there is a buy-in that will also be counted as pre-show. Dameon Nelson, this is AEW, so therefore points are doubled. We also have a Casino Battle Royal, which will be giving a heavyweight championship title shot, which will be counted as Money in the Bank. We have a lot. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. At this point, Meathead, I'd like to thank the NAACP for this award. The award of winning and being in first place in the middle of the PWR.
You're definitely all by yourself, that's for sure.
And I really want to thank God. I want to thank my family. I want to thank everybody who has helped me and saw that I had a possibility in getting into this draft and then being in the lead and winning this draft. And
you're definitely leading Linda and Drew, that's for sure.
Even you, Meathead, I know that this is difficult for you to take, and understanding that I'm just better and my strategy works, and the AEW stars that I have on my fantasy draft team as part of the Nelson family are going to take me over the top. This is not a marathon, actually. This is not a sprint. It is a marathon. That marathon will go all the way through the AEW pay-per-view in the first quarter of next year. And at that point, all of you will sit back. You will relax, and you will say, damn, he's good. And you will be referencing me.
So this is a bit of a preview. I'm going to run down the draft this week. Really, these last 3 weeks, Dameon, we had a show on August 22nd, August 23rd, August 30th, and we have the big show this Saturday, September 5th. That's 4 pay-per-view events for points. And
when is Clash of Champions?
Clash of Champions is September 27th.
Oh, okay. All right, good. I thought it was.
Well, I mean, if you watch the pay-per-view, they said it was September 20th, and then they came back and said it was September 27th.
What a difference a week makes.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, but literally 4 pay-per-views, tons of points being scored real quick. 1340 for Meathead, 1140 for Dave Hero. Dameon Nelson is in the lead for 3rd place at 775. 4th place, Drew Baydala, 680. Linda Kay in last, 605.
I'm sorry. What was that? My monitor went out. It felt like you said something about 3 with Linda. What are you getting at?
Like I said, you are definitely in the lead when you're battling.
Yes. Thank you for the soundbite. Thank you. Yes. I am in the lead. Yes. Thank you. Tremendous.
Don't you worry. I know who does the editing around here, too. I could talk to him as well. All right, folks. One quick more mention here. Again, Manscaped. I know Dameon's talked about it. I know Dave, Shane, everybody's talked about it. Matthew talks about it. Even Linda's talked about it, too. Just because it has the word man in it doesn't mean that women aren't getting it for their guys as well. Head on over to manscaped.com and get yourself 20% off plus free shipping if you use the code PWR. I know they got a really cool thing there where you can get like a toiletry bag, boxers for your man, all that other good stuff. Head on over to the website, manscaped.com. Dameon Nelson, anything else you need to put in before we wrap this thing up?
Bit of a personal question, but reference Manscaped, yes, 20% off, code PWR. Thank you, Meathead. Thank you for hosting the show every day. Thank you for tracking the draft points and being man enough to be able to show the world that I am in the lead in the fantasy draft.
I feel like tonight are we doing primetime tonight? Because, you're the executive, like, PWR guy. Are we doing a primetime tonight?
Absolutely. We'll be live on Fight TV. That's FITE Fight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After a week's absence, we are back with Shane Hurricane Helms in the studio for the Primetime Super Show. 7 p.m. Eastern. Fight TV, free on Fight TV, and, of course, across all of the PWR social media channels as well.
Well, I feel like there might be something coming up to explain that you're in first when battling for third. So, for Dameon Nelson, I'm the man they call Meathead. Thanks for stopping by. So long, everyone.